In this exercise, let's study how to use some template provided by the Android Studio and the more UI widgets, including menus, check button, and the like. So let's start new project. Basic activity template and the more UIs. So far we have used input activity, but now let's use a basic activity. It provides a menu system and other things at our disposal. And this template uses some additional libraries. So if your Android Studio is not having those ones yet, you may be prompted to install those one as well. So as you are prompted, please click install and have it ready. So let me run the basic templates created by Android Studio and see what you get. As you see always, on the bottom, there's a progress message. So the project is being built. Now it's ready. A few things we can notice is that on the bottom there is a circle shape thingy there, and then on the top there is a dot 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 called a hamburger icon, something like that. As you click that, some menu shows up. So in this basic activity template, that menu is added, and then this red circle one is called the floating action bar, a button, FAB. Floating action button means this one is another user interface widget, but it is a floating. It is not occupying an area on the screen exclusively, but is on the top of any widgets on the screen. Actually, you can move it around when you design that. You can place anywhere you want, but this one does not occupy the any area, but it's floating over that, so you can save some screen area. So let's first learn what is happening here in the program code. One thing you can notice is that now the activities superclasses app compat activity is this is actually what we have turned off the backward compatibility whenever we create activity, but this one is for backwards compatibility as well. So let's just use as it's generated as a template, and then the rest of the code is identical. So what we have learned so far, we just use that result, but just note that the superclasses app compatibility activity, actually that is coming from some support library, not a standard library. So it is now recognized. The Android Studio should have installed it, and they should be recognized as you first created this project. If it was not there, you were prompted to install that. So here, menu system, as I unfolded the project structure, under resources now menu subfolder is created. So in this subfolder, XML file where we define menus. At this moment, we have only one menu called the settings. So if you want to add more menu, you can edit this one graphically or XML wise. So let's do graphically as much as possible. So if you want to add another menu, you need to drag menu item, not menu. So menu item and drop it, and that is placed. So here you could set an ID so that you can have some event handler when this menu is selected ID, menu, let's say edit menu, and then text title. You can give a text title for this. So menu edit. So the text title is edit. I did it to avoid hard code string. And then you can choose an icon for this one. An Android system provides some basic icons. You could add yourself, but you can pick up one from Android system. So unfold this one. And as you scroll down, any of those icons you can choose, but some standard icons provided by Android system begins with IC and menu. So icon menu. So let me pick up icon menu editor. So this is pencil icons there. Click that. And then show as action field is that how you want to have it displayed on screen. So one of the option is if room is available, then displayed on the top portion of the bar. So if room, so after the app name and then the end is dot 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 hamburger icon, then you may have a room or you may not. So what it means is that if a room is available, yeah, push it on the title bar or menu bar. Otherwise, go to the dot 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 portion, which is called the overflow menu. So in this app, so dot 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 is for overflow menu appears. For this settings, says show as action is never, so never show up on the bar. So always give it in the overflow. That's the one. It's there. So now as I run the program, the edit menu icon should show up on the menu bar on the top of the screen. So here, the edit menu icon shows up. Still, settings is in overflow menu. Now let's see how to handle, how to give a response to menu selections. As you go to the code, a few things are added. So something you should not change at all is this function, that is on create option menu. That is when activities launched, and then if you have added your own menu, meaning that under menu resources in XML file, so if you define some menus there, so the menu will be inflated by this function overloading there. So this is generated automatically. So just keep it as is. Don't touch that at all. So otherwise, if you remove this one, menu will not be inflated. And then next to it is on options item selected. As the name implies, this is event handler routine. When you choose the menu, this will be responding to that. And then depending on the ID. On menu, the settings, the ID is action settings. And then the edit one ID was ID menu edit. So system generated ID for settings is action settings. So if you go back to the program, so here are ID action settings. So this one is the case, is when case, when settings is chosen. So let's do some more, something like that. One thing you notice is that as you process for the menu selection, you should always return true, meaning that that item, menu item has been processed. So else it's not processed, you need to call parent on options selected one. So just one thing remember is that when you after you process the menu, then always give a true value of that expression, then returns true. So here let's toast message for testing purpose. This context, it's a settings menu selected, and then toast short show there. Then another menu we added is the edit menu. ID is ID menu editor. So let's handle that one. r.id.id menu edit is the case. Then don't forget to return true when done. But let's toast the message before that. And then here edit is set. So let's run and test the program. So as I choose edit button, toast shows up. Overflow menu settings shows up there. So you can add as many menus as you like. Then one thing I like to show you is that as I add more menu, then you can give some ID menu add something like that, and then title menu add so this is the text title of the menu. Then icon, let me add some menu add which is plus symbol there, and the show as action if room is there. Then on the graphic layout, those orders are not correctly showing up as you do some change something. So if I run the program, what you see on the graphic layout of the menu system may be different from what you actually see. So anyway, let's just see what you get at this moment. So here, edit and then add, those both of them shows up. I said as if room, but in graphic layout, it's not showing up correctly. So do not rely on what graphic editor shows, but you can just check how it runs after running the program. Now, just for testing purpose, let's add r.id menu add, and always return true. But before that, let's toast some message add there. For the entire layout of the activity, let me show you that part. So as you open the layout subfolder, now we have two things. Activity main, that's the one we used to use, and another one is content main. So activity main is the definition of the screen. As I take a look at the XML, what it does is that on the very top of the window we have a toolbar. This is where you place menu. So on the top of the window we have a green bar there. That is a toolbar, and this toolbar is inside the app bar layout there. So this portion decides the menu bar system there, and then physically include this layout file, content main. So content main is included there. And then the last one is a floating action button. So that is this red circle one. So here you can change and then choose something differently as you want. So in very topmost the main layout just defines a menu system, menu bar, and then the floating action button on the bottom, and then in the body just include just another definition. So if you add more buttons or text view, whatever you do, you need to just add it onto content main layout file now. So let's take a look at the floating action button. So as I click that, I see the details. The first ID of that is FAB, floating action button, and then layout width, those are defined. And then some background color is there and so on. So here the icon is determined by this part. So if I click this button, something shows up on the bottom, like some drawer. As you can see, some drawer, and then it disappears. So that part is called snack bar. So here what you see is a toaster. So in addition to toaster, there's another just transient pop-up dialog box that is called the snack bar. And the snack bar is as follows. So when you press the floating action button, so in the main activity program, floating action button, that is the ID. If I show you again, activity main, this floating action button ID is FAB. So in FAB, we attach event listener, set on click listener, exactly the same way we have done so far. And then what is done is snackbar.make. So this is how to create another kind of pop-up dialog box similar to toaster. So this is a snack bar, which happens on the bottom of the screen like a drawer. It opens and then it disappears shortly. So snack bar make, and then now the first argument is any view on the screen. So here as I click floating action button, that is a view, so that is provided. And then second parameter is any text message you want to display. So as I click, replace with your own action is displayed. And third parameter is length, like a toaster, so length, short, long, and so on. And then you can add action to that. So here action takes the label as a text and the listener as a lambda function and so on. So if I give a null, nothing happens. But if I choose to give a some action, so let me do something like this. Instead of a null, let me give a lambda function there. In this lambda function, let's toast the message, make text, this context, toast within snack bar, toast, short, show, something like that. So let me give a line break. So now let's see what's happening. So remember in set action I gave a first parameter is text, the second parameter lambda function, which is event handling when the action is pressed within snack bar. So now as I click the floating action button, here action is done. As I click, oh, it's disappeared because the duration is automatically determined. So and then press action, then toast message shows up. This shows message is in event handler I defined as a lambda function when action within the snack bar is pressed. The Android Studio gives some suggestion here. What it says is that lambda argument should be moved out of the parentheses. What it means is that if you remember in a function call like set action, if the last parameter is a lambda, then you could move it outside the parameter parentheses. So for set action, we have opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis down here. And the suggestion is that the last parameter lambda function could be moved out. So let's just close that and then move the lambda function out. So that's what the warning message says. That's just professional style of Kotlin code there. So we have studied the template generated as a basic activity. Then in next sessions we will continue to use this good template.